Make this summer unforgettable driving in a Mercedes-Benz from Mercedes-Benz of Edison. Join me Friday, July 10th at 12 noon, where I will be hosting my show live from Mercedes-Benz of Edison. I'm excited to see my friend and GM Doug Wells and the entire staff. Mercedes-Benz of Edison is committed to making your shopping experience stress-free. That's one reason they were named the 2026 Mercedes-Benz Dealer of the Year by Cars.com. Visit Mercedes-Benz of Edison and meet me, Greg Kelly. See you soon.
On July 16th, The Hawk lands on Netflix. From the mind of Will Ferrell.
Oh, mama, I'm back!
Comes a new original series.
Get ready, get ready. That's it. Did I stutter?
When an iconic pro golfer...
Lonnie,
Hawkeye!
...takes one last swing at greatness.
You were a big shot golfer.
I still am a big shot golfer.
No one...
Dad, I'm the Hawk now.
...will stand in his way.
That's how it's done.
The Hawk, only on Netflix, July 16th.
The Dominic Carter Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And we have a lot to get to this morning. 800-848-9222. Accused rapist Graham Plattner spotted at his main home as he appears to hold the state Democratic Party hostage, refusing to drop out until apparently unless he gets to name his successor. President Trump is safe at his hotel in Turkey amid at least a dozen new retaliatory strikes on Iran by the U.S. military. We'll come back to Graham Plattner in just a moment, but we are starting with this. Imagine whatever city or state you're listening to us right now in a high-rise building, and it becomes unstable, and so confusion and uncertainty in Midtown, in Manhattan, following a building's near collapse. The New York City Department of Buildings, a bad history, if you will, has slapped 7 violations on this 38-story commercial building at 235 East 42nd Street near 2nd Avenue between July and December of 2025, resulting in a total of more than $32,000 in fines, agency records show. The voice you're about to hear now is the commissioner of the New York City Buildings Department. Again, a structurally compromised Midtown Manhattan high-rise has been stabilized after fears that it would collapse.
I'll say that we were able to visit and get to the 21st floor this evening ourselves to inspect and look at the work that's been done, and we are feeling confident that many of the emergency shoring measures that have been put in place as a result of extensive discussions with the building owner, the contractor, their licensed professional, is stabilizing the situation. They've also brought in a third-party engineer to verify and act as another set of eyes to ensure that we're looking at an intervention that is providing the stability that gave us the confidence to be able to allow people back in the building to install the emergency shoring, where we are not only at a point where emergency struts or jacks are in place to hold up and stabilize where the weak points are, but they are also installing new steel as another emergency intervention, which is creating stability and allowing workers and material to move into place and keep the building in a stable situation. We've been monitoring the building for many hours. And
so that is the City Department of Buildings in Manhattan, a high-rise building, shaky. Hopefully things will work out. Hopefully. Keep your fingers crossed. Let's get to Graham Plattner of Maine and the state party in Maine confirming going public, accusing him of basically holding them hostage.
His endorsement. Chuck wants him to end it immediately.
And they're even shopping for his replacement. Democrats have less than a week to find a new candidate. But the New York Times reports that Plattner won't step down unless Democrats promise to replace him with someone just as radical as himself. His campaign says that's not true, but we're not sure how good their word is at this point. The party knew Plattner had skeletons in his closet. His opponent was warning about him back in March.
The negatives on this guy are much more damaging, and that's why I'm trying to get people to look at the whole thing, the whole picture. I think his liabilities make him much more vulnerable.
And so a volatile situation. Hopefully this guy will do the right thing and step down soon. But we have entered the crazy season on this. Jason rants to Ana Navarro on CNN. I want you to listen to this. After she claimed that President Trump paved the way for this Plattner clown to stay in the race as long as he has.
I do seem to remember Bill Clinton surviving a pretty damning scandal. That was
after he was elected. After he was elected.
Oh, but so that's the only reason, because he was elected, he's going to get a pass. I mean, he's still being featured by the Democratic Party. He still speaks at DNC conventions. I think you're right in a more general sense, right, that we now have come to a point where I guess we're accepting of certain kinds of scandals, both the right and the left. I think this goes way further than the traditional scandal that we're dealing with. To me, we should be asking a lot of these Democrat voices, why did you stick with him initially? Mm-hmm. Why did you stick with him after the second scandal and the third scandal and the fourth scandal? Why was the Nazi tattoo not enough? Why was making fun of rape victims or making jokes about rape, why was that okay? Why did you guys dismiss the New York Times story simply because the victim in that case was a Republican? Like, those are legitimate questions that the Democrats decided did not need to be adequately answered because they wanted to win in Maine and they thought this was their guy.
Ana Navarro needs to be ashamed of herself. So what show does she appear on? Dayside, of course, The View. And I'm coming right back to The View. 800-848-9222. Folks, how does this play out? We want to hear from you. 800-848-9222. Sunny Holston on The View. You won't believe this, but she says that she would still vote for Graham Plattner.
It is a disgusting time in politics where we decide what we're willing to morally accept based on the jersey you're wearing. And if you are one of those people that was willing to plug your nose, you're the problem.
Well, then I'm the problem, because I was one of those people, and I said it, if I lived in Maine, I would have, plugged my nose and I would have voted for him anyway. I think that we are in a time of existential crisis in this country. I think Republicans fall in line. They don't fall in love. Democrats want to fall in love and not fall in line. The Republican Party, the bar is so very low. I cannot believe that they want to try to assume the moral high ground on the Republican Party. Right. I mean, you can miss me with all that, especially when you have Pete Hegseth, who was confirmed by the Senate in 2025 as the head, as a cabinet member, as the defense secretary, when he had one, drinking allegations. His sister-in-law submitted a sworn affidavit describing his drinking problem, and in order to get confirmed, he pledged that he wouldn't drink on the job. Number two, he had a tattoo controversy, not one, but two tattoo controversies. One was a Deus Vult tattoo, which is used by white nationalist groups. Two, he has a Jerusalem cross tattoo, which has been interpreted as an extremist symbol. And finally, in 2017, a woman claimed he had sexually assaulted her after a conference. She reported that assault immediately. She had a sexual assault examination. And in 2020, and he says it was a consensual encounter. And in 2020, he paid her $50,000 to settle the claim. Yet,
why not condemn them all? Yes, I condemn them all.
Well, but the Republicans didn't do that. The Republicans confirmed him, and
I'm a Republican right here condemning anyone who's been credibly accused of sexual abuse.
I'm talking about the Republican Party as a whole.
So would you be comfortable?
They are the Epstein file protection party.
You'd be comfortable still voting for Graham Plattner if you lived in Maine?
Can I just say one thing about this?
Take the moral high ground.
I really think that.
You know, folks, one of the things that really disturbs me about Sunny Holston on The View and about that show, I don't think she cares at all about the division that she's taking part in, leading, directing, and as far as settling a lawsuit. Fortunately, I've never been in that position, but anyone that has had to deal with that, you often know that in a lawsuit, it's much cheaper to settle than the legal fees alone. You go to trial in any legal situation, legal fees can run you several $100,000 easy. 800-848-9222. You go to federal trial. I've told you folks, I was an in-bed reporter at the Southern District of New York for over a year. You go to trial with the feds in the Southern District, I am telling you that you need to second mortgage your home up front because you're going to need liquid $300,000 to $500,000. $300,000 to $500,000 if you plan on going to trial in the Southern District of New York. And by the way, they have a conviction rate. I think it's 97 or 98%. Even the big socialist himself, Mamdani, says it's time for Plattner to go.
I believe that it's time for him to drop out of the race. And when it comes to my own endorsements, I've made 8 endorsements at the state and federal level. They've all been right here in New York City. I'm incredibly excited at the fact that they won their races, and that's where my focus is for now. I think the focus of today should be to respond to the gravity of what so many of us have read, and I think that the only appropriate response is for the campaign to come to an end.
So that's from Mamdani himself, and if it's not enough, all that's happened as of late, we have the second former Graham Plattner girlfriend speaking out, and she describes violence, which, of course, he denies.
And we have the breaking news for you in our national lead. Tonight, an emotional CNN television exclusive with Lindsay Fifield. She's an ex-girlfriend of Graham Plattner, the Democratic Senate candidate in Maine, and she's speaking out on camera for the very first time as Plattner faces an accusation of rape from Jenny Rassicot, who he dated 5 years ago and who told her story to us on CNN yesterday. And Plattner denies that accusation. Fifield told me just this afternoon that much of Jenny Rassicot's story rings true to her own experiences dating Plattner from 2013 to 2014 in Washington, D.C. She describes a controlling, occasionally violent partner whom she says was hostile and callous towards women's feelings. This is not Fifield's first time speaking out about Plattner. She spoke to the New York Times for a piece published in early June ahead of the Maine Senate primary. Plattner denied her allegations of physicality following the New York Times report. That was in an interview with MS Now. But today, as Plattner's fellow Democrats abandon his campaign following the Rassicot allegation of rape, Fifield is reflecting on her time with Plattner. A warning, the content of this interview includes graphic details of domestic violence that viewers could find disturbing or possibly triggering. Here is my conversation with Lindsay Fifield.
You already knew Jenny's story.
Yes.
But what was your reaction to her telling her story yesterday?
I was so proud of her. I was so proud of her, and I know how hard this has been for her, but I also know that she deserved that vindication. She deserved to come out and actually tell her full story, because the way that it was told before, or the parts that were left out before, had left her vulnerable to a lot of attacks that she did not deserve. And she should have been protected the whole time. It's unfortunate that she had to tell her story this way, that she should have never had to come out with her name and her face. She should have been able.
And so that from CNN, and this thing is a big mess. 800-848-9222. We are coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show. Entertaining and informative. On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Anyone can sell electronics. At Electronics Expo, they do more than sell products. They design, install, and support complete technology solutions. From home theaters and whole home audio to lighting, shades, automation, networking, security cameras, and premium entertainment systems. For over 22 years, they've helped thousands of homeowners experience technology at its very best. See the difference for yourself. Visit their Wayne or Paramus stores in New Jersey or shop now at electronicsexpo.com.
This is going to be an extremely busy month. I have to watch 104 soccer games, follow the pregame, the postgame, yell useless opinions at the TV. It's a lot. So I knew that when it comes to screening for colon cancer, the choice was clear. The Cologuard Plus test. It can be used at home and can only take 15 minutes, so I can do it during halftime and not miss any action. If you are 45 or older and at average risk, ask your healthcare provider about screening for colon cancer with the Cologuard test. You can also request a prescription at Cologuard.com.
This episode is brought to you by Starbucks.
That is fire. Whoa, that's good.
This might be the drink of the summer.
Okay, I like this one too. I'm rocking with it. Okay.
Try it for yourself. Starbucks Refreshers Concentrates are coming home. Find them in the coffee aisle and make it yours.
Suffering from dry, tired, irritated eyes? Don't let dry eyes win. Use Sustain Pro. It hydrates, restores, and protects dry eyes for up to 12 hours. Sustain Pro. Triple action dry eye relief.
The Dominic Carter Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And to the telephones we go. 800-848-9222. Line 1, Al in Yonkers. Al, good morning.
Well, good morning to you, Dominic. Yeah, I think the problem with Plattner, my own personal opinion, I think this has gone on too long because these new Democrats, they really have no sense of morals, in my opinion. You know, it's like anything goes. Even years ago, I'll give you a quick example. You know, Packwood was the liberal Republican on the Senate, and he had these allegations, and he probably should have even went sooner. But eventually the leadership at the time, Bob Dolan, said, you know, you got to go. But these Democrats, I mean, this guy from California, they really don't have any kind of ethics or morals, in my opinion. And it had to wait to a charge of, you know, rape. They finally said, you know, we can't support you no more. I mean, this took way too long, my personal opinion.
Do you think, Al, at the end of the day that Graham Plattner takes the party down with him? He seems like he's not going down unless the ship goes down with him.
Yeah, I mean, you're a great analyst. Even like you said last night, I agreed with you that he was politically a dead man walking. I would think he would get out because, I mean, if he doesn't, I mean, he comes from some money, from wealth, I heard. But, you know, he's got to have a future, you know, live a life. And if he does that, he's going to really, you know, burn a lot of bridges. So I would think he would get out.
So last question, you say no morals. Sure. So what goes next? I mean, I can't, to be honest with you, Al, I can't believe the times that we're living in, that somebody like this, you know, could survive and win the nomination. And, you know, it's like, how many accusations did it take? So, I mean, where are our politics as a country going, in your opinion?
You know, I think, you know, in the Republican Party, I think things are still good. Those moderate Democrats who were a party of labor, you know, party of the working class, they've seen it's gotten too radical. So fortunately, I think a lot of them turned independent, and they'll stay the course with Republicans in the future. But as a Democratic Party as a whole, I mean, they're really on a decline. I can't see a, you know, good ending there.
Right. I can't, it kind of leaves me depressed, to be honest with you. And I don't like to admit my personal feelings here that somebody like this could get this far. And I mean, I don't know if it's the Trump effect. I know that the Trump derangement syndrome, it drives Democrats crazy, and they will do anything to get control of the House, to get control of the Senate. But it's like, My God, I mean, look at this guy in terms of the allegations against him.
Yeah, I just want to say quickly, Dominic, New England well, and they're just way out there, these people. And you got one Republican, Senator Collins. So these people are really in left field,
Right. Al, thank you for the great call. They are way, way, way out there. We are coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show. Entertaining and informative. On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
¿Qué huele? ¿Me extrañaron? Aquí tienen a Aurelio.
Esta es la saga más famosa de la televisión hispana.
Soy indestructible, imparable.
Y su banda sonora se escribe con balas.
Te gusta que te vean, que te aplaudan. Y eso está bien. Alguien tiene que ser el payaso. Pero cuando falles, que vas a fallar, no va a haber segunda vuelta.
Hoy vas a pagar con sangre.
El Señor de los Cielos, temporada final. Esta noche a las 9:08 Centro por Telemundo y Peacock.
Want to elevate your travel experience? Here's how. With a Delta SkyMiles Reserve American Express card, you can relax before your flight in the Delta Sky Club with up to 15 visits per medallion year. And now through July 15th, 2026, you can earn up to 125,000 bonus miles, so you're closer to your next adventure. The Delta SkyMiles Reserve card. Check out the new design at www.delta.com/Spotify. Minimum spending requirements and terms apply.
Work. The Dominic Carter Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And we see your telephone calls. We're going to go right back to them. For example, Roger in Massachusetts. But first, President Trump is safe at his hotel in Turkey amid at least a dozen new retaliatory strikes on Iran by the U.S. military. This from Fox News.
Fox News alert, CENTCOM confirming that the U.S. military conducted a new series of powerful airstrikes on Iran for attacking commercial shipping. Let's go to Mark Meredith in Turkey. Mark?
Greg, good morning to you. The president is at his hotel for the evening. Is now after midnight, but the latest news we are getting is from U.S. Central Command that they are launching new strikes against Iran, basically in retaliation after Iran had launched 3 different attacks on ships that were transiting the Strait of Hormuz. These were commercial ships as they are trying to get oil, natural gas out of that water in the Persian Gulf into the Gulf of Oman. But the Strait, of course, has been the center point for so much of what's happened since early February, where President Trump said it was imperative that ships would be allowed to move in and out of that area freely. Iran, of course, had contested that, saying that they were going to be the ones deciding who was going to be able to move through that waterway. Now, we don't know whether or not these strikes are completed or if they are going to be ongoing. Iranian state media was reporting a series of explosions in southern Iran, but we'll be looking to get more details from what Central Command has to say or the president's own comments while he's here in Turkey. And I will mention, Greg, oil prices already jumping on the news of what's happening. Another big development, the U.S. revoking a waiver it had just issued to give Iran 60 days to sell its oil. The White House pulling back that release earlier this evening.
And so that from Fox News. And, I want to stay positive about Iran, but those nuts and dealing with them, let's just put it this way. President Trump has his hands full. I really wish the president the best. And I really believe still at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, President Trump will go down in history as the greatest American president ever. I know the Trump derangement syndrome, but when you look at the facts, this is what I'm focusing on. 800-848-9222. Line 1, Roger in Massachusetts. Roger, good morning. What's on your mind?
Yes, sir. Yes, thank you for taking my call. This reminds me, we're talking about how these radicals get so far. This reminds me clearly of the statement that Ronald Reagan made: we're only one generation away from losing our freedom. And sadly, it starts in the schools. It starts even in grammar school. It starts with the education. Or shall I say lack of education. No more history, no more civics, and such. Like the song says, teach your children right. It's up to us parents to teach our children right and wrong.
Okay, so Roger, so you tell me, and I don't want to get going and get all worked up and so on.
Right.
Where is this coming from, and why? Talking about our young people, why have we fallen so badly And it's like, I mean, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it anymore.
I don't know. It's life. Everything you want. You get it on a computer, through your smartphone. They don't know how to fix anything. They don't know how to do arithmetic. It's whatever they're fed over their cell phones or the internet or social media. It's like the flesh running wild. It's like children running, the household. It's something like that. It's gotta be. It's fun. Maybe here, they say that old phrase, "spoiled American brats." Maybe there's something to that phrase. And as generation after generation goes on, we just get a little worse. I mean, my generation, the hippies, they did a lot of damage.
Right, but I'm thinking about that Reagan quote, and one generation away from losing our freedom, and he was right, and you're correct in reciting it. When you look at all that's going on societal wise, and I guess I'm just a little down because I wish that we had the answer. I mean, when you look at the fact, when you look at the fact of no, it's okay. When you look at a Graham Plattner, right? As far as this guy, and let's say he had stayed in the race and beat Susan Collins, right? You're gonna sit this guy in the United States Senate? I mean,
we get conditioned, gradually conditioned. This gets put upon us. And a bunch of people make a protest and a stink that we don't accept them. And a little bit here, a little bit there. Like, remember the marching in the streets of Manhattan a couple of years ago on a Pride Parade saying, "We're here, we're queer, we're coming for your children." All these little things, they get normalized after a while in our heads. Instead of us to step back and say, "Hey, where are we drawing the line? This is there's between right and wrong." But we're getting normalized. We're getting conditioned to accept. Oh well, if this is just, like all the causes. The Me Too movement, the Wall Street, all these things, they come and they go. If there was something to them, they were stuck around. But it's just we're being conditioned to the next thing or something.
Right, and as
the
you
children,
said, Roger,
running wild, yeah.
I thank you for the wonderful call. As you say this, as Roger was talking, I'm thinking about under Biden, the transgender parade, whatever it was at the White House. And you had transgender women pulling down their tops, and they're men, but they have breasts and they look like real breasts. And we're looking at their breasts and they look sexy, but it's a man. And then you say, and Matt Blaze, I'm coming back to you in a little bit, but Matt Blaze, help me out here, right? So I see you got your AC/DC shirt on, and it says what? Back in Black? What?
That's it.
Here?
Back in Black.
And you got my Adidas.
Always. No matter what.
Hey, we got these calls. We're going to get to them.
Yeah.
But what's going on society-wise, man? You tell me.
People are crazy. I don't, we hear everything around here. I hear all the callers. I hear people defending we said this last night, Dominic. No means no.
Right.
No means no. Just like you said, you could be rounding third base, and she says no. It's a wrap. Stop. It's over.
It's over.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what she was wearing. Doesn't matter what you were doing. Doesn't matter
what she was drinking. It doesn't matter.
The heat of passion. If she says nope, that's it. It's a wrap. I don't know how people can go, well, her drawer was unlocked, and she knew. No, it doesn't matter. Right. That does not matter.
Did you see the latest thing about this nasty Graham Plattner? According to one of the women, that he liked to sneak the condom off.
Yeah.
So the woman's thinking that she's sexually protected from a sexually transmitted disease, and then come to find out when he's all over and done, and let's hope that she was on the pill, because when he's all over and done, he took the condom off.
That's a real dirtbag. I mean, that's a real dirtbag. Right.
She's thinking she's protected.
Right.
And, But, I don't know, Blaze. Are we part of the problem? Because, Pork Chop, the one that was twerking, don't laugh. The one that was twerking the girl and, she became a star.
I told you.
Seeing her backside and her vagina, she became a star.
I told you she was going to be a star. And this is what happens when everybody's got a camera on their phone. This is the reason.
And a good camera.
A good camera. You could shoot a movie on your phone.
Good audio.
Doesn't matter. This is what happens when you have everyone. What's the first thing when something happens, Dominic? The first thing people do. They don't help. They take out their phone to film it and then upload it. They want to be the first to upload it, to get likes, to get views. That's the first thing. That is the society we live in. I've said this, if I can go back in time, the one thing I would take away is social media. I would take it away.
Eliminate it.
I would eliminate social media. Look, Facebook was great at that time when it first came out. You get to stay in touch with people you went to high school with, elementary school, people you haven't seen in forever. Then as the technology got better and they're doing video and all this, and now you have with TikTok and Snapchat and all of these things, sending pictures, it's too much. This is the reason why we are in the world that we live in, because everybody thinks their opinion matters. Now you're putting people in touch with that go, oh, you mean I'm not the only one that thinks this way, even though their thinking is insane. They find other people that think that way, and then they all they get together, and now this is why we have these issues. So I would eliminate social media.
So we got all these calls, so we got to get to them. So to pick up my spirit here, because I'm down over Graham Plattner here, I've had the opportunity to do Hollywood movies, right? And it's cool, right? It's cool. I still get residual checks, but there's two things. Don't laugh. One thing, I want to ride Air Force One. Never been on Air Force One. Been to the White House many times. Never on Air Force One. Two, right? This is a lighter moment. I want to know, inquiring minds want to know why I want to play myself in a segment of Law and Order. I want some, but they haven't called. I want something to come along like a phone call comes in to SUV, whatever it is, to SUV, but a bank robbery to SUV, right? Doesn't make sense. And we want Dominic to come in, and I decide I'm going in. And management goes, we don't know, you gotta wear a bullet, something like that.
Yeah.
I wanna do Law and Order. I've never been called for Law and Order.
But you want to be
for everything else, but never for Law and Order.
You want to play yourself, or do you?
Right. I don't want to do it unless I can play Dominic Carter.
Oh, I was going to say.
I don't want. With Spike Lee, I played another reporter, and in that other movie, I played. Wait, did I play myself? Yeah, I mean, I didn't name myself, so I was a reporter.
Right.
On scene. I forgot the name of the movie, but I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it unless I can play myself.
What was the other one with the Halle Berry movie?
Let's not go there. People are not going to believe me. People are not going to believe me. Let's not go there. Like, why are you starting trouble? We got all these telephone calls, and you're starting trouble. Why are you starting trouble?
I mean, how did you not mention Halle Berry?
Because every time I tell a story, nobody believes me. So I'm going to make it quick. I'm going to tell a story. I have a certain listener, wonderful woman. Dominic, it's too much information. Don't do it. You make me blush. It's too much information. Halle Berry, and I forgot that Bruce Willis was in the movie. I think it was Bruce Willis. So Halle Berry, kid you not. Now, you went there, Blaze, but the scene got cut. It got cut. But Halle Berry is tired at home after a long day's work, and she's watching the news, and she happened to be watching me, and she decided to do something that people sometimes do in the middle of the night. Now, do you know what that would have did to my acting career if Halle Berry was masturbating while watching Dominic Carter? And she actually did the scene, but it got cut from the movie.
Do what it do, baby.
Let's get to some of these telephone calls. Hey, Hey, I see we have Yetta in Manhattan, a retired school teacher. Yetta, help me out. I'm kind of down about what's happening in Maine.
Okay. Well, I didn't call to talk about that, but I did call because your last caller is absolutely correct. The problem is the schools. I think I wrote a little piece about it and you reposted it. The problem is what's going on in the schools. The schools have lost importance in the children's lives. You know, when I was a kid, school was the focus. You had to be in school over 6 hours a day, 5 days a week. I came home. I had 4 hours of homework. I had to study the material for tests. I had no time to fool around like this. You know, I bumped into a kid in the elevator today. She was with her mother. And I said to the kid, "What reader do you have in class?" You know what she said to me? Kindle. Just Kindle.
Wow.
They don't even know what a reader is anymore. School has lost the focus in children's lives. They should have 4 hours. Well, I said that already. They should have plenty of homework to do. They have too much free time. I don't know what goes on in the schools today, but, you know, as I said in the piece that I wrote, what happened to the expression, "it's a school night"? Years ago, kids couldn't go out on a school night. If school was more important in their lives, they would not have all this free time to do all this fooling around during their free time, their off hours.
Hey, Yetta, you know, it's funny you mentioned this stuff. I remember as a teen growing up, and I guess you were still in the public school system teaching kids, and the thing that used to scare me to death here in New York, Channel 5 at 10 o'clock, it's 10 p.m.
Yeah, I remember that.
Do you know where your children are?
Right. Correct, I remember that.
Think about how much that was looking into the future, and we didn't even realize it back then.
That's right. That's a very, very good point, Dominic. That's a really, really good point. How much homework did you get? I'm just curious. When you were in school, in high school, how many hours of homework did you get a night?
Can I make a joke, Yetta? It's only a joke.
Okay.
Can I make a joke? In high school, I played football, so cheerleaders did my homework. I don't know how much homework I had. I don't know.
All right. So here's my last question. Did you have to study to take tests? Did you have to study?
You don't want to ask me that, Yetta, because they had different You know what, Yetta? Let's do what's called a tease. I'm going to tease my answer to that. I want you to stay with us. I've got to do one more segment, but when we come back, I'm going to answer your question. Stay with me, Yetta, and we are coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Now, from New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter.
And where is Miss Positive, Miss Silver Lining, Liz in Florida when I need her? That's the woman that always picks up my spirits, Matt Blaze. And I'm down and out. It is what it is. But you know what, Matt Blaze? They used to have that thing, the Battle of the DJs, right?
That's right.
Yes,
they do.
So now we got the Battle of the Teachers.
Uh-oh.
Yetta's still on in Manhattan, and Teddy and Yonkers each worked in the New York City public school system. So, Yetta, what do you say to your fellow teacher, Teddy?
Well, hi, Teddy. It's very, very nice to talk with you. But I have a question for you, Teddy. When you were teaching, how many hours of homework did you give your students? And wasn't school the focus of the students' day? And when you yourself were in school, didn't you have hours of homework to do at night, books to read, reports to write, material to study for tests? I don't understand what goes on in the schools today.
Well, when I was in high school, I had term papers in American history. I had reports in English reports to do, compositions, okay? And math, I mean, I don't have to tell you about math. I was a math major. I mean, I took all of the math courses, and you had to study math, and it's a hard subject.
Teddy, I have to tell you something. Do you know I got a 99 on my math Regents trigonometry exam?
Oh, boy.
That's called out.
99 on my trigonometry exam.
Oh, boy.
That was called intermediate algebra and trig back then. Okay.
Well, I don't know what it was called, but I can prove it. I have my report card to.
You don't have to prove anything to me. This is
Okay.
You're not on trial. You don't have to. You're not in trial. You don't need any evidence. In today's paper, Yetta, the front page, math scores and reading scores are way down in New York City.
Okay, do you know why?
Surprised?
Because they no longer teach math applications in the schools. When I was a sixth grade teacher, I taught fractions, area and perimeter, decimals, percent. I would teach the students how to change an improper fraction to a mixed numeral. I would teach how to divide with decimals, how to multiply with decimals, how to find area and perimeter.
Teachers,
they don't teach this anymore.
Well, you don't have students.
They don't teach them even how to find the lowest common denominator.
Look, I know when I taught at Bronx Community College. After I retired, and while I was still teaching, I taught the remedial courses. They can't do basic arithmetic.
They can't.
And they're in college. They shouldn't be there. But that's for another day, another story for another
Just let me tell you why. Because they stopped teaching math
left.
applications in about the year 2000. That's why.
Okay. Dominic, I have to make my point. Dominic, I'm through with the Democratic Party in every way. Murphy, Schumer, everybody. But Dominic, that doesn't mean I absolve criticism for Trump. But you won't do that, and that's okay. That's how you
criticize when Trump is wrong. I will criticize him, but
He's got to go
Trump.
bomb Iran. Look what Iran is doing now. They're threatening us. Okay, who the hell are they to threaten us, Dominic?
Hey, I enjoyed the conversation with you two teachers, Yetta in Manhattan, Teddy in Yonkers. We'll have to do this another day. And I see Liz is on the line, but I'm out of time. Back at 3 p.m. Eastern.
Thanks for listening to The Dominic Carter Show. You can hear The Dominic Carter Show weekdays at 3 p.m. and Monday through Thursday at midnight and Sunday starting at 11 p.m. on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Get ready, Staten Island.
The Ferry Hawks are back at SIUH Community Park July 7th to the 12th for a 6-game series against the High Point Rockers. Wednesday, July 8th with first pitch at 6:30. It's Woo Wednesday in collaboration with the Wu-Tang Clan. The Ferry Hawks transform into the Shaolin Hawks. Thursday, July 9th, first pitch is at 6:30. It's Thirsty Thursday with $5 Bud and Bud Light drafts.
Visit ferryhawks.com now to lock in your seats.